Is it on? The red light is showing? Yes, it is. Then it's recording? Good. Go now. Return to the bridge. Clean the toilets or something. Go and torture some rebel spy captives. I don't care. Just leave my sight. Hello. I'm sure you people are fully aware of who I am, but for those not affiliated, you may address me as Lord Vader. For a long time I have watched your existence from a galaxy far, far away, and have never been even remotely compelled to interfere in your affairs. That is, until now. You see, a few things actually, have transpired that have forced my hand to speak forth. Some things have happened that have been so disrespectful, so bizarre and mind-numbingly ridiculous that I feel I have no choice but to send a message from my galaxy to yours. And what is this abomination of which I speak? One word: lucasfilm. Now, for me to make all the various points I need to address, I will break this message down into 3 stages, 3 points of attack, if you will. These points are The Last Jedi, Kathleen Kennedy, and finally the House of Mouse, Disney itself. And so, like a crack militarized imperial assault, my first strike is the insult to filmmaking and storytelling known as The Last Jedi. And like an imperial marksman waiting to snipe at the head of a rebel army's commanding officer, I direct my assault to the man who created this abomination, Rian Johnson. What the fuck is wrong with you, Ryan? You had a simple task. The second part of a 3-part story is simple. Good guys get handed their asses, bad guys win to a certain degree. Yours was the simplest task of all. You didn't have to start the story, you didn't even have to end it. All you had to do was make sure everyone was excited enough to come back for part 3, and you fucked it up. These films are fantasy. These films are limitless. You could have taken this story anywhere, done anything. And what did you do in this limitless fantasy adventure? You created a story that literally revolves around the slowest chase in film history. You even sent 2 protagonists, one protagonist in a social justice bookmark dressed in a potato sack, and a side mission that made no sense and paid off to no reward whatsoever. You turned the worst designed droid in history into the toughest, most formidable combatant in the story. Don't believe me? That rolling piece of shit BB-8 saves the ship, defeats enemies with coins, and even controls an AT-ST, and the little prick doesn't even have legs. And the one character you did have that could have been something special, a reformed stormtrooper, you turned into a pointless joke who achieves nothing. Although I'm personally not a fan of stormtroopers growing a conscience, I much prefer mine to be all killing and white uniforms, but that's just me. You had a villain, a master of mystery. Very little information is given in The Force Awakens to the identification of the mysterious Supreme Leader Snoke. And I believed, in the next movie, we will learn who he is. This even led to much fan speculation online as to his identity. Many fans discussing who this mysterious man of the shadows could be. It was intriguing and exciting. Right up until the moment you said, fuck it, and figuratively took a colossal turd on every single fan theory by killing him off before we ever found out who he was. And then there's Kylo Ren. Now he showed promise. Granted, I thought he was somewhat of a rip-off of yours truly, but could see what they were attempting to do, and it was admirable. Then you took Kylo Ren and made him the most whiny, bitching mama's boy the galaxy has ever seen. He can't kill his dad. He can kill his dad. He can't kill his mum. He can kill his mum. He likes Rey. He doesn't like Rey. Oh, for fuck's sake, Kylo, you're a shit or get off the pot. You whiny little bitch. And this is the enemy who we're supposed to be scared of. This is the dark presence that's supposed to be intimidating. The mere mention of his name should send shivers down our spines when he arrives on screen. I don't think so. I could teach Kylo Ren a few things about the art of intimidation. And then there's Rey. No lightsaber experience, defeats Kylo Ren. No piloting experience, flies the Millennium Falcon better than Captain Solo himself. Never left Jakku, which is a planet of sand, and there's a lot of them, it seems, but can swim like a fish. Nothing more to add. She is boring, she is pointless. There is no character development or story arc. There is nothing. Rey is nothing, and so is my interest in her. And finally, we come to the saddest and most depressing aspect of this towering shithouse called a movie, the destruction of Luke Skywalker. Now, I'm no fan of Luke Skywalker. I've had my fair share of troubles with him in the past, but the disservice done to him in this crackfest is truly unbelievable, deplorable, and downright heartbreaking. The young hero who dreamed of leaving the moisture farm where he grew up, dreamed of seeing the galaxy, all his adventures, the man he became, witnessing the death of his aunt and uncle, the revelation of his father, and his willingness to sacrifice his own life for what he believed in, is shockingly reduced to a sad, pathetic hermit hiding away on a remote island, squeezing milk from the testicle tits of a fat fucking sea cow, and moaning about how shit his life is. This is Luke Skywalker. How is this the great Jedi legend that confronted true evil, saved the galaxy, and single-handedly brought balance to the Force? Now, just as a sad old man who tried to kill his own nephew in his sleep and has tit milk on his beard. So sorry, Luke. So sorry for what they did to you, my son. And so, with all that being said, I say this to one man whose head is the same shape as an imperial battle station, whose laugh is more ball-achingly annoying than that of Salacious Crumb, and whose face makes me want to drive my lightsaber through it, strapped to the front of an Imperial Star Destroyer. Ryan, I can't write a decent movie if my sole existence depended on it. Talentless fucklord Johnson. Fuck you, Ryan, from the deep, dark recesses of my twisted and evil heart. And on behalf of every true Star Wars fan in existence in this galaxy and yours, fuck you. And now for the second part of my message. I turn my opinions to one Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm. You see, the faults of The Last Jedi cannot be solely based on the shoulders of the talentless fucktard Ryan Johnson. Someone should have been keeping an observant eye on him. Someone should have stopped him from making this piece of shit filmmaking fecal matter. Before it reached the cinemas, someone should have seen what Roundhead Ryan was making and slapped his round little head and said, "No, Ryan Simpleton, learn to direct, you odious little shitball on legs." And that someone is Kathleen Kennedy. You're in command, Kennedy. You sent out the orders. It's your responsibility, Kennedy. If one of my officers costs me the lives of 30 or so of my Imperial stormtroopers, do I blame the stormtroopers? No. I crush the windpipe of the commanding officer as he begs for my mercy, slowly watching the life burn away from his cold, dying eyes. You, therefore, are responsible, Kennedy. You allowed this abomination of a film to come into being, and why? Because Kathleen Kennedy has an agenda. Not an agenda to make good movies. She's proved that time and time again. No. Kennedy's agenda is as simple as Rian Johnson's head is round. Kennedy's agenda is Star Wars needs more women. Now let me make it clear. I'm no sexist. Women have the right to do all the same things that men do. And anyone arguing that is by definition a sexist piece of bantha photo. That is the definition of equality. That is not what Kennedy wants, however. Kennedy wants women to dominate. Kennedy wants all the men to look like incompetent idiots and all the women to be perfect, and that's not equality. That is sexism. Look at the character of Rey. No flaws, no defeats, no struggle. All the Disney movies have featured female leads, without flaws, without struggle. Admiral Holdo, Jyn Erso, Rose Potato Sack Tico. Whereas the men are bumbling, incompetent fools, needing a strong woman to help them. This isn't equality. Then there's Princess Leia Organa, arguably the most headstrong, confident, brave, determined, feisty female character in cinema history. It's true the original trilogy may not have had many female characters, but it had Leia, and anyone would be hard-pressed to find a stronger female character than her. And you, Kathleen Kennedy, allowed Rian Fucktar Johnson to turn Leia into a joke. She flew through space like Mary Poppins. She flew through space like Mary fucking Poppins. And you allowed this, Kennedy. You let this happen. In trying to make equality for female characters in Star Wars, you allowed Ryan Head like a fucking Orange Johnson to take a shit on the greatest female character, I would argue, in cinema history. You should not be in charge of a multi-million-dollar film franchise, Kathleen Kennedy. You shouldn't even be in charge of a bunch of little brats learning for the first time not to foul themselves. You, Kennedy, shouldn't be in charge of anything. You want to bring equality to Star Wars? You failed, Kennedy. You failed miserably. But maybe Kennedy isn't solely to blame either. After all, who put her in command? Who gave her the control like an Ugnaught with a repeating blaster rifle? Who gave this feminazi all the power? And so that brings me to my third and final part of the attack, the House of Mouse, or its more common name, Disney. Or as I like to call them, we copy everyone else's shit and we package it as our own because we're talentless fuckheads with no real vision. You see, just as Kennedy should have stopped Ryan Shit-for-Brains Johnson, so too should Disney have stopped Kennedy when they saw what she was doing. They heard what her agenda was, yet they sat back on their collective asses and allowed Kennedy and Johnson to shit all over Star Wars, and shit they did. Kennedy should not have been allowed to focus on flawless female characters. She should have been told to create interesting characters, male and female. Don't hire someone based on what is between their legs. Hire someone based in what is between their ears, a brain. And Ryan Bowling Ball for a Head Johnson shouldn't have been allowed to make a movie that revolves around the slowest pursuit in sci-fi history. He should have been forced, pardon the pun, to make an exciting story with exciting characters, an out-of-this-world fantasy adventure, because that's what Star Wars is and what it's always meant to be. But Disney is scared, just like all the other production companies in Hollywood are scared. But what are these tycoons of the film industry scared of? The coming apocalypse, the rapture, the coming invasion of 1 billion hungry, pissed-off rancors? No. They are scared that some whiny little bitch baby might say something bad about them on social media, and they don't want the negative press. That is why Disney allows the Disney Wars to exist. That is why Kathleen Kennedy is allowed to seek out female-only writers and fires anyone who has a different opinion. And that is why Ryan Head-like-a-shaved-bottom scrotum Johnson is allowed to create such an insulting, boring, confusing, pointless, and heartbreaking piece of cinematic excrement and call it Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now I am truly enraged. I will not be fully calm until I have used this rage, so I am off to slaughter innocent civilians on the nearest pathetic planet. But don't go anywhere. I may have further things to discuss, and do not disappoint me. Or I will be forced to unleash the true power of the dark side. And believe me, you don't know the power of the dark side.